Andy Donovan held his small glass to the light and examined the scotch's deep caramel color, then swirled it and brought it to his nose. He raised his eyes, the same shade of gray as Colin's, to Finian. "Do you want me to tell you what I smell?" "If you like," Finian said. "Just sniff. Don't inhale deeply. It's not a yoga class." "As if you'd ever find one of us in a yoga class," Andy said, then shrugged. "It smells like peat." Finian observed him with interest. "What else? Do you smell spices, fruit, chocolate, maybe?" "Nope. It smells like an expensive scotch to me." "Have a taste, then," the priest said with a sigh, his Irish Kerry accent more pronounced than usual. "No problem." Andy tossed back the scotch and made a face. "I'm with Emma. Too smoky for me." It was the final whiskey of the evening. The Donovan brothers hadn't left so much as a drop in any of the specially designed glasses, one for each whiskey. The glasses all had little hats, like Scottish tams, that concentrated the aromas of each sample. Finian had brought them from the rectory. Hurley's didn't have whiskey-nosing glasses. Before turning to the priesthood 6 years ago, Finian and his twin brother Declan had founded and operated Bracken Distillers on the southwest Irish coast. Bracken 15-year-old, an award-winning single malt and rare peated Irish whiskey, was one of the night's offerings, or expressions, as Finian called his lineup of bottles. Emma noticed Mike, the eldest Donovan, eyeing her from across the round table. He was down from the remote Bold Coast, where he worked as an independent wilderness guide. "Special Agent Sharpe's a wine drinker, aren't you, Emma?" She couldn't detect any hint of criticism or sarcasm in his tone, but he still was looking at her as if she had done something wrong. "I like wine." She kept any defensiveness out of her voice. "How about you, Mike? Do you pack a nice Central Coast red in your canoe when you take tourists on moose sighting excursions?" Kevin and Andy both grinned. Mike ignored them and settled back in his chair. "I took a couple out on the river in August. They had a wicker picnic hamper stocked with real wine glasses, cloth napkins, silver cutlery, French cheese, a baguette, apples and pears, and 2 bottles of fancy wine." "Must have weighed down the canoe," Kevin, the Marine Patrol officer, said. "Oh, yeah. They insisted on having a picnic on the riverbank, but they didn't count on Maine mosquitoes. They lasted 3 minutes before we had to throw everything back in the canoe. We paddled straight back to their car." "Don't tell me," Andy said, amused. "The next stop on their main tour was Heron's Cove." "Couldn't wait to get there. I'm sure they enjoyed the quaint shops and fancy restaurants." "Everyone does," Emma said. "I don't care." Mike raised his as-yet untouched glass of the heavily peated scotch. His eyes were lighter than those of his 3 younger brothers, but no less intense. "Sláinte." Finian winked at Emma, but said nothing. She reached for the Inishturk Beg, a clear, triple-distilled whiskey from an independent distillery on a small island off the west coast of Ireland. She splashed a little into a fresh glass, set down the distinctive tilted bottle, then held up her glass to Mike. "Sláinte." He swallowed the scotch, and she sipped the Inishturk Beg, one of Finian's favorites. He had explained that it was gentle on the palate, clean and fresh on the nose, with fruity aromas, flavors of apple and orange zest, and a dry finish. Emma wasn't discriminating enough to go much beyond whether she could get a taste down with or without choking. "Colin would have enjoyed tonight," said his eldest brother, still watching her. Emma nodded. "He'll have that chance soon. Lots of whiskey left." "Are you and your FBI friends any closer to finding him?" "You're assuming he's missing?" "That's right, I am." Her head spun, and she wished she had skipped the extra taste of the Inishturk Beg. "I can't discuss your brother's work with you." Andy and Kevin were as serious now as Mike was. Even Kevin, a law enforcement officer himself, didn't have any information on his older brother's work as one of the FBI's most valuable ghosts. Emma had only a